Hey, welcome in, buddy. It's the Windy City Chicago Bears podcast. My guy Patrick Schmidt has the day off today. So I got my main man, Dan Levy. Levy, do you have an intro for the show for us? I think you got something that excites me.
I'm glad you asked, sir. Welcome into the Windy City, talking all things Chicago Bears. And now, here's your host, Mark Carmen.
Wow, buddy. You just did that live and all the pressure on you and just knocked it down?
No problem, baby. Give me that shot every time. I got it, baby.
That's why you're the professional that you are, Dan Levy. If anybody needs voiceover work for anything, bar mitzvahs, weddings, radio stations, you're the guy.
Rock and roll.
You're also the guy. The reason why I wanted you on this pod today, and I'm saying this with a smile, and I shouldn't be, but Tarik. So I went to OTAs yesterday. We'll get to that in a second. I got a video that I'm going to play for you of Justin Fields throwing an unbelievable bomb to Treston Ebner, who dropped it. I didn't even realize the dude dropped it, and I posted the video. Like I'm back in the we watch practice, right, and then we come back into Hallis Hall, and then they're going to be dudes speaking, and you're not allowed to post during when you're videoing, but once practice.
I was just going to ask you that because I remember back when I used to cover the Bears, they did not like people posting videos at all.
Right, you can't
get one out.
Well, you can't post when they're on the field. They can't do it live, but once it's over, you can.
Oh, so like a recap. You can't live stream it, but you can do it after the fact.
Exactly. So I get back and I'm like, let me get something up quick before these guys are at the podium. And so, which is my best video? Well, I'm going to pick this Fields situation. And so I throw it up there. And then like when I come back, I see that it's getting reaction when I come back, and everyone's like, he dropped it. I didn't even realize the dude dropped the damn ball.
It's not easy. That's how you know people are dissecting it, because I've watched it about 4 times on your Twitter feed, and it took me the last one to go, I don't think he caught that.
he didn't. And that, by the way, is the 6th round draft pick, Treston Ebner, who's supposed to be a running back who can catch the football. He didn't quite there. But
OTAs, it's optional. It's an option. You don't have to catch it. It's just optional.
Bears fans want you to catch the damn ball, so catch the damn ball.
It's optional.
Right. Well, here, actually, we'll do it in reverse order. Let me play it since we're talking about it, and then we'll get to Tarik Cohen in a second. But so this was the see if you could see Treston Ebner drop the football.
So he bobbled the very end.
He dumped it. I mean, it was a perfect ball, man. Fields.
It's almost as if he caught it. That was kind of trying to let it go, but he just never really had the secure.
Yeah, one more time. Look at him drop the football. But look at the pass by Fields.
Is not an intuition as to what's going to happen this season. That's not the precursor.
Feel free to jump in the old chat here if you think that, hey, that's what it's good, because that's what people are tweeting. That's exactly what's going to happen all year long, Carm. They're going to suck, and Fields is going to, all these guys can't catch. Let me read some of these comments if I can pull that up as we're on the fly.
It's optional. They're all just kind of feeling it out. They're all just kind of running. They're all just kind of covering the basics right now.
I guess.
Let's not put too much stock into one throw during an OTA.
I give Treston Ebner a break. He's learning his way. These people. Justin Dimes, there we go. More like 31 is dropping them. Am I right? Nice catch, Grant Hall. Feel like we got to get used to. Feels like we got to get used to the drops this year. He dropped it, LMAO.
They are rough, man. Jeez.
Yeah. No, they firing away. But Bears fans, I love you. I seriously love you. You get fired up on an OTA drop. That's why you're the greatest damn fans in football. Football fans, you're brilliant.
Hey, dude, I congratulate you on working an algorithm. I mean, most people, like, when you look at videos, people don't stay for the very end. You got them staying for that last half a second. It took me a couple times to notice. You're doing really good content, buddy. Nice work.
Well, it was a 10-second clip, but thank you very much.
Still.
So, hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll absolutely take it. So, all right. Outside of Ebner dropping footballs, the big news yesterday, and I'm sitting there at practice, and Adam Hogue walks up to me, and I was on with him over at CHGO, and we were talking about Tarik, and he's like, in his piece in the Players Tribune, he's like, did you see what happened to Tarik today? And I hadn't seen it. But he's working out. He's got his Instagram live going, and he pops his Achilles. You can hear it, the whole thing. And he's telling the guys he's with, stop the video. So he doesn't want that out there. And then, people of course see it and they retweet it and they post it and yada yada. And some guys then felt bad about it. My guy Runback Dave on Twitter, he posted it, took it down. So I'm wondering, Dan Levy, in your expert moral compass, which I've fought with you on,
for many topics,
many times, is it wrong from a social media perspective to put out the Tarik Cohen video of him popping his Achilles that was on his own damn Instagram?
Listen, he is one of the first people I remember to even do Instagram Live. He was the one doing stuff like in the Bears locker room before people even came in, and he was doing IG Lives all the time. So for me, I still think of him as like a pioneer of Instagram Live. With saying all of that, with that said, I mean, the guy has made a lot of money in this world. Probably wouldn't help or hurt him to hire somebody to help him film a really cool video of him doing workouts. Instead of going the IG Live and having people see it live, get the video. Do the cool things like The Rock does, where they show them doing the running and the cool stuff and make a cool montage. You've made a ton of money. You're trying to make a comeback. And the possibility of him getting injured, especially after the serious injuries that he was already out of the season for, I think brain-wise, don't do that, because anything can happen. But he took a chance. He lived and died by the IG Live. And if that's his career, we all just saw it snap, literally.
So, okay, and that brings me to an idea I have for the Chicago Bears. Now, if you go back in time, the Bears, there was a tight end that played for the Bears, and his name was Zach Miller, okay? And Zach Miller was an okay player. I mean, we're not talking about anything spectacular with the Bears.
Functional.
He was functional. Exactly. He was functional. He is his best year. He caught 47 balls in 2016. He was in the end zone 4 times. He had 5 touchdown catches in 2015. And he had the brutal leg injury in the end zone. And the Bears went out and stood by him. Now, by the way, hat tip to Adam Hogue. We were talking about this yesterday, and I thought it was a great point that he made, that the Bears could do the same thing with Tarik and give this guy a contract while he's rehabbing. And, it doesn't have to, obviously it's not a big money deal. Just throw the dude, I don't know, $1 million, a lot of dough for me and you and everybody else there, but not a lot of dough to the Bears. And put him, let him have his health insurance, let him have a place to work, let him work his way back in, put an option on the contract for next year, right? And if Tarik gets well, then you've got yourself a football player. And by the way, like Klay Thompson, same deal. Guy's tearing ACLs, then he's blowing out Achilles, and he's in the Western Conference Finals. I know that football's not basketball, but it has been done. I'm not saying that Tarik's ever going to be back on the football field, but the Bears could do him a solid, man. I think it's the right thing to do.
I don't know about. I mean, he's already gotten paid. He got a good contract with the Bears. Does he need another contract just to be on the sideline? No, he made a good chunk of money when he had a pretty decent career. The last couple of seasons that he played, he rushed for 1,000 yards. What was it, 2018, 2019? I mean, the guy he had a really solid career with the Bears. He's trying to make a comeback. He may never play again. And you know what? We've seen worse injuries than that on any kind of live television and sports broadcast. I mean, just the Paul George in the Olympic trials when he busted his ankle on the
that was bad.
I mean, we've seen worse than that, and he can come back. He's a great athlete. I don't think. I mean, now this is a guy who was on the bubble, did not have a great career, and probably didn't make much money in the NFL. All right, throw the guy a bone. But no, this guy made some money. He cashed in on his talent. He's good. He does. If he wants to go play again, he can play. If he doesn't want to play again, his great grandkids will never have to work again if he knows how to invest it correctly.
Well, he signed a 3-year, $17 million deal with the Bears. It was a $7 million bonus, $12 million guarantee. It's a lot of dough, correct?
That's a lot of money. What do you need? Insurance? You need some PPO all of a sudden?
Hey, listen, it's a lot of money to me and you. If this is also a guy who, you're going back through his career. He was, his second year, he was phenomenal. Just a tremendous gadget player. I don't want to overrate who he was, but he was a 4.5 yards a carry at that point. He also had 725 receiving yards. I mean, the dude,
he was balling. He was awesome. For Richard Trubisky, that was like his best weapon.
Yeah. Plus, kick, punt returns, all of it. I listen. And Tarik's just a flat out good guy, and he's also had the horrendous tragedies in his family, which we learned about in the Players Tribune piece. His brother getting whatever happened when he was driving the car. If he was drunk allegedly, and then he tries to climb over some fence and gets electrocuted and dies. I mean, what a horrendous story. And then his other brother passing away. And listen, Tarik doesn't need anyone's sympathy per se, but maybe some empathy.
He's a guy who got paid. I mean, we're not talking about a guy who walked on, who maybe signed from like the Canadian League and then got like a 1 year, maybe $1 million, half a million deal. I mean, the dude played it out. He did really well. He got released. As they said, you're injured. They're not going to just say, hey, let's pay you because of Instagram Live. If nobody saw that video, should there be anything? You know what I mean? It just so happened to be something that we caught.
Yeah, but then Adam Schefter and everybody else out there reported today that he had surgery on his Achilles, and so it's out there. I'm just saying, look, it can work out for the Bears too. 1 year option deal, minimal signing bonus. Let him rehab the year, and then you have him for next year on a next to nothing contract. You got Tarik Cohen.
Yeah, we don't know if he's ever going to be good again.
If not, then
I see more down. The Bears, they got what they got out of it. I think that's what the NFL is going to get out of it. Unfortunately,
I knew that I wanted you on this podcast for some reason. But I'm yet to find it because I thought you have a heart over there, Levy. Let the guy get a deal.
Man, I wish that guy the best of luck. He was one of the coolest players that the Bears have had in the last 10, 20 years. He's exciting. He was fun to watch. He had like a little Devin Hester-esque to him. When he got the ball, you didn't know what he was going to do, and he would be able to break through some runs and break through some tackles and do some really cool stuff on the field. And I did miss him the last couple of years that he didn't play. And the fact that this happened to him is terrible. But again, the guy got paid. The Bears, we need to get younger. We need to get healthier. So we just need your boy Justin Fields to throw a couple more completed passes in the OTAs, and we can move on from Tarik Cohen like the Bears already did.
All right, fair enough. Let me move on to everything that happened at OTAs yesterday. It was a fascinating day out there. We had a little skirmish for one. I'm going to trust our guy Mark Grody had this right, that 96 was involved in the skirmish, and 96 Bears fans, of course, you want it to be, or at least you remember it to be, Akeem Hicks, but the new 96 is LaCale London, the great LaCale London, who's the second.
I actually like that name.
It is a solid name. He's a second-year defensive lineman most of the year last year on injured reserve and the practice squad, but apparently in a little bit of a skirmish. And then Eberflus gets up there. He was asked about it by Grody. And he's like, we don't want bear on bear fighting. No bear on bear, which is an interesting phraseology, if you will.
I disagree with that.
You want training camp fights?
I do. I want these guys hungry. I want them battling for positions, man. I want intense, man. I want guys like chomping at the bit here to really not to just make the team. I mean, they are picked to be the worst team in the league by some people right now. I mean, if that's not burning your guys up and they're not looking to kind of get at each other because they're so intense and they're working at it, I want to see it, man. I want to see a little more aggression starting now.
Yeah, you don't want guys hurting other dudes
They're
on the
never
team.
gonna hurt each other. They're not gonna. They're not gonna hurt each other. These guys are monsters.
Okay. I don't have a list in front of me of training camp injuries from fights.
It's May. Even if somebody gets hurt, what's gonna happen? They'll be fun. September. We'll see you, and we'll see you for the game opener.
I'm with Flus. No training camp brawls / injuries. You want some, little jawing, little verbal whatnot. But hey, we're all in the foxhole together. We are Bears. We are the Windy City Podcast. Damn it.
Let it burn. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Let's get into it. Let's get intense.
Yeah. By the way, chat is always open here. I don't know what FGB means, Benjamin Lewis. So if you can,
F Green Bay, I think.
Oh, that's a terrible job by me. You're damn right, Benjamin. F Green Bay. Even if it does. Yeah, and hey, we'll see him. We'll see him week 2. But thank you, Benjamin. I appreciate some Packer hatred on May the 18th at 4:48 in the afternoon. This is
the way we got a new regime, new GM, we got a new head coach, we got all new people to watch. Let's get it on. Green Bay, my sights are set on you.
Yeah. Well,
Tarik Cohen, get healthy. We'll use you if you're good to go. Come on back.
Yeah.
If not, you've been paid well.
Benjamin, you're teaching us, buddy. Good work. Thanks. Hit that subscribe button, Benjamin. We're going to make you a player on this show. Damn it. Good work over there.
I read you loud and clear, Mr. Lewis. Just call me a receiver. I read it.
All right.
I read the play.
Okay. Anti-training camp fights. So that was one thing yesterday. Another thing that from our guy, Coach Eberflus, hashtag the Flus is loose. He is just super, super high on the rookie cornerback, number 39 overall. The Bears going for Kyler Gordon. And, quote, Kyler's been lighting it up the last 2 days. I'll just tell you that. The guy's got tremendous ball skills. He's been playing defense the right way, and we're very impressed with him. I'll just tell you that. And he's doing a good job the first 2 days. We'll see where it goes. He's young. He's got a lot to learn, but we're excited where he is with his ball hawking skills, no question. Which makes me think, Bears fans, that the Flus might have been a little bit in the ear of Ryan Poles saying, hey, I know we got a lot of offensive needs here, but just, and I know I'm a defensive guy, so I don't want to, be too focused on the defense. But this guy, Kyler Gordon, out here in Washington, he's sweet. So if you want to take him, I'm telling you, he's going to have an instant.
If you want to look at one defensive guy, I got a suggestion.
I got a guy for you.
I got a guy. I got a guy. And so now 2 days into OTAs, here comes the Flus singing his praises. And not necessarily the same for Jalen Johnson, who that was a really interesting exchange yesterday. They asked him about, hey, dude, I know that you played well last year, but the rest of the defense, especially pass defense, sucked. So, how were you, what was it like being a good player with a bunch of bad players in essence? And so Johnson pushes back at the room, like, were we bad? And Courtney Cronin, who replaced Jeff Dickerson over at ESPN, RIP JD, miss you. And Courtney's doing a great job. And the rest of the room, like Pat Finley's Googling it up. Yeah, you guys were 32nd in the league. I mean, defending the pass, and everyone's like throwing stats at him. So he's up there like, okay, well, I guess we did suck then. And, I don't know why that guy would even allow himself to be put in that position. Just go, that was last year. This is this year. We're all looking forward to next season. Those guys are gone. Mac is not here anymore. 96 is we have a guy named after a vegetable now. Hicks is gone. So on to the next one, man.
I just had never seen that where he's trying to defend the defense and like, what are we all friends here? We're just going to bust out the stats and have a convo. But
122 social media, man. Everybody's vying. You're not gonna win that fight against the media if they want it. If they want you like that, just say
no. But like
old years in the past,
old school media, they might have backed down. Well, maybe you weren't that bad, but no. Today's media, I got the numbers right here, buddy. Football Outsiders told me that you absolutely sucked. I'm going to give you the Football Outsiders numbers to prove it. This is not some I watched the game and there's one stat out there. No. There's a whole list of things.
We can run it. There's a thing called Google, and all I got to do is just repeat after you.
Yeah, Jalen was one of those guys too. Who's I don't think you really like the media all too much here, buddy. And
not anymore. Not started off the right way.
Yeah, but it was. I don't know. I wouldn't use the word contentious, but I would use the word that was an interesting exchange yesterday. And Levy's got to get out here in a couple minutes, so I got some stuff I want to play from you. But before you go, buddy, let's see. What did I want to bring up with you? Oh, I know you've got deep thoughts about the schedule, which you love a schedule release, and the Bears don't have a bye until week 14. And shout out to Herb Howard, who's been on this podcast, and Herb does a great job over there at the Bigs. And he asked Flus about, hey, buddy, any reaction to the schedule? Nope, don't give a shit. In essence, we got to play the schedule, so I don't care. And then again, the media jumping in I think Jason Leeser was in on that one at the Sun-Times doing a great job. He's like, you don't care that you got the late bye? That's the worst time to have a bye. It's 14 weeks you got to deal with this. This is a team that's not exactly built to win here, Coach. Don't you think maybe a bye earlier would have been better?
And that's why he's probably I don't care. This whole season, I'm just going to be scouting. I'm just going to see what happens. If we get a couple wins, I'm going to chalk it up to a thank you. And I got about 2 more years to try to turn this around. So bring me your worst.
Well, right. And it was just coach talk too. Hey, man, what am I supposed to do? Bemoan the schedule? The schedule is the schedule. I got to coach my guys up, whether you have the bye in week 4, week 14, whatever it is. And by the way, there's a lot of wins. That's what he could have said. There's a lot of wins on this schedule, dude. Have you seen us? We're playing the Jets. We're playing the Giants. We got Atlanta. We got Detroit twice.
The typical Bears fashion, they're going to lose those. The gimmies are going to lose, and they're going to beat the ones that nobody thinks that they're going to. And Eberflus is going, they have yet to finish my parking spot out there. You think I care about a schedule right now? I have no idea about how this roster can do.
Right.
I care about week 14's bye. I'll be lucky if I even get there yet.
I'm the head coach. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm the head coach of the Chicago Bears, and we're not. By the way, I have minimal to no pressure on me this year. We are not expected to win. All I got to do is make sure that Justin Fields is a hell of a lot better at the end of this year than he was at the end of last year, and as long as that happens, I will have done a good job. And then we're going to have $100+ million in money to spend on free agents and whatnot. We're going to most likely have a high draft pick. And if we don't have a high draft pick, that means that we over succeeded in year one. And it's because I did a great job as the Flus is loose. So, nothing to lose here. Just don't, be a respectable football team, if you will. That's what this year's. And by the way, I'm
also if LaCale London is good, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Sure.
I thought you'd be pretty good, but we'll go from there.
I think you meant Tyler Gordon, but maybe
Tyler Gordon. That's what I meant. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, sure, right. And hey,
you're welcome.
Jaquan Brisker. You guys didn't like that pick either. When that dude's coming up and making hits and playing like the lunatic that he was in college. Y'all gonna like that one too.
I'll play that one. Yeah,
we're thinking long term. All right, Levy, you got to go do your own podcast now. So say hi to Brett Boone, and thank you for being here, buddy. I appreciate you.
Always a pleasure on the Windy City. Call me anytime, Marco.
You got it, brother. All right, so I will. I'm here to entertain you. We might have a couple others jumping in, but see you, Dan. Appreciate you. So look. It was a lot that went on at OTAs yesterday that I'd like to cover. First off, you rarely get opportunities to talk to assistant coaches nowadays or any locker room feel. So we got to do that yesterday. So I got some audio that hasn't been out there. But just in general, there is I can't emphasize it enough. There is just a different vibe to what is going on and a professionalism with the Bears right now that I have not seen in oh so long. So I'm excited about it. I think there's just something for you just to feel like a little comfort when you put your head on your Bears pillow at night thinking about what this team is going to be. You know what? They're actually being run right now by competent people, which has not been the case in, I don't know, a decade. That's what it feels like to me. So I want to shout out a couple people who were covering yesterday as well. Number one, my guy Pat Finley over at the Sun Times. Can Carm get a mention on a question I asked yesterday to Lucas Patrick, the Bears' new center? Hey, any comparison between Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields that you could see? And I was thinking maybe he would talk about his swag or just the confidence and the way he goes into the huddle, something along those lines. And so, yeah, no, he didn't do any of that. His answer was tough to compare those guys there, buddy, Mr. Carmen over there in the corner. You know, you got, a 16, 17-year veteran, and then you got a second-year player. I mean, if I'm being honest, it's like comparing an apple to an orange. It's a tough one to pigeonhole those against each other. So, yeah, and I didn't get what I was looking for there at all. I was hoping there was there's a confidence in Justin that I see in Aaron, or Aaron, or maybe he was going to go over the top the other way, which I really wasn't expecting, something along the lines of, well, Aaron's got this that Justin doesn't quite have yet, whatever that would be. But so he just went apples and oranges. And Benjamin, you're right, man. We're winding back for a second. Yes, nothing to lose for this Bears season, not a single damn thing. If they win a bunch of games, that's sweet. If they lose a bunch, just be optimistic about having an off season where you're going to have a high draft pick and you're also going to have a ton of dough to spend. So, all right, let me get to these assistant coaches. So I'm making my way around the room, and I get, it's interesting. All these coaches are going to be made available. And I don't, this is a whole new regime. I'm not an expert on who's there and who's not there. So I'm walking into the room. I'm pulling up on my phone, just looking for who looks like what here and who do we want to talk to. So I walked over to a gentleman by the name of Tarik Cohen, who is the Bears wide receivers coach. Now, he's been in the NFL since 2003. He's been all over as far as a wide receivers coach goes. He was the Cardinals in 2003, the Bills from 2004 to 2009, the Panthers in 2010, the Broncos from 2011 to 2017, and then most recently with the Giants. So I was just interested about, hey, look, you are supposed – Velus Jones is supposed to be this dynamic offensive weapon, the first offensive player that the Bears took at 71 overall, and he's going to be – returning kicks and punts. They're going to use him out of the backfield. They're using him in the slot. They're going to use him wide. How the hell is this guy going to learn everything, right? It's a lot to ask. And so, hey, buddy, what do you think, Coach? Coach Tolbert, is this possible that Tarik can actually learn all this stuff?
Velus playing all over. How hard is it for somebody who's brand new to learn this route, that route? I mean,
it's hard. It's hard. It's not easy. But if it was easy, anybody could do it. I mean, I could do it if it was easy. So it ain't easy. But the thing to do, in my opinion, is throw it at him now. Put him in multiple positions now to just throw him in the fire. He's going to mess up, like all receivers. They're going to mess up. Let's see what he can absorb and take in. And then when we start to get in the fall and game plan, now we know he's been exposed to this. He's been exposed to that. He's been exposed to that. Now you put it all together. Now he knows how to do a lot of things rather than just playing one position. If the season's in the game, what position is he playing? Well, now he can play F. Now he can play X. So it's a matter of throwing it all at him right now. And he's going to make mistakes along the way, but eventually it'll work out for him and for us because he'll know more once we start to fall.
So not master this, then we'll give you that. You're going the opposite way to do it.
Well, within these different positions, he's mastering routes and mastering techniques of running routes, but we're trying to get him to know the whole concept, the whole playbook. That's how I've always taught receivers. Know the concept because you never know. You got so many guys. We got 12 guys right now, receiver. boy, when you to the season, I don't know how many we're going to keep. You know, may have 5, 6, whatever, a couple on practice squad. And on game day, you may have 4 or 5 up. So you never know how many guys you're going to have up, where they're going to play. So you have to know the whole concept because you never know who's going to be up and what position you have to play.
So we're throwing the entire book at Velus right now and see how much he can actually digest. And is it hard? Yeah, it's really, really, really hard. Like, we have no idea what he can actually soak in and digest and be good at. But the chances, at least the way I heard it, that he's going to be able to master all these things that are being thrown at him, not likely. So expectations, at least for me, Velus, year one. I mean, I think he's going to have some like moments of success. Fingers crossed, right? I'm buying into the hype around Velus, but I think that's going to come on punt return, on kick return, and maybe a couple flashes on offense. But there's no way this dude's just going to come in here and learn everything that he's got to do, be fast on the field and playing with, instinctively, and also be on the same page, build chemistry with Justin Fields. It just seems like an awful lot to ask. But hey, if he can gradually improve as the year goes along and be ready for year two, that's what I'm talking about for Velus. And then there was one other thing. Darnell Mooney, number one wide receiver. Love you, Darnell. Love the way if you watch Mooney, you see a guy who's 150 pounds and he's always fighting for more yards, right? He doesn't go out of bounds. He doesn't go down. And I'm like, dude, I get it. You're a football player. You're competitive. You maybe have a little bit of Walter Payton in you. There's an old school reference. I'm not going out of bounds. I'm lowering my shoulder and trying to pick up as many yards as possible. But you're also this slender wide receiver. Get down, live for another play. But that, again, here comes Coach Tolbert, and he's just fired up by the way Mooney goes about his business. So I asked him about, hey, have you talked to him about perhaps getting down and staying safe?
Do you have to teach him to, I don't know, live to fight another day on certain plays and not take the beating? A lot of times I thought he was just getting killed out there.
Well, I mean, I haven't taught anything like that yet because we don't have any pads on. I don't know what he did in the past, but I mean, there are certain things you have to do to be smart, but I haven't come across that right now with Darnell that I've seen. I mean, what he's doing is what I would tell him to do. Try to make plays, try to move the sticks. Like, it was a situation where I was looking at tape and it was 3rd and 2. He went like a 3-yard route, got the first down, couldn't run about. No, he's turned up the field. He's on the sideline. He's turned the ball up the field. He gets like 12 more yards before he gets tackled. I mean, stuff like that. Most receivers say, okay, I got the first down. Give me 1, 2 more steps, get out of bounds. No, he turns it up, gets like 12 more yards. So love that about him.
I love it too on some level, Coach. And it was interesting. That's not anything that I have seen on him. I'm going to say that you were being honest there, and I'm going to say that you need to watch more tape of Darnell Mooney because that's your best wide receiver, and that's how he plays. That's what he does. That's who he is. Listen, I just want the guy on the field. It's not as nerve-wracking as when Justin Fields is running around and you're worried that he's going to get cracked, and that's almost seems inevitable too. But Fields has, I think, for the most part, in year one, it was rare when he was doing things that he shouldn't be doing as far as taking on contact. Mooney, on the other hand, gets drilled a lot, but his coach wants him fighting for yards, so I don't think that's gonna change all that much. All right, couple comments, and I'm just curious. Is anybody with me here? Do we want Darnell Mooney to get down, dude, or are we with Coach Tolbert? Hey, fight for as many yards as you can. It's football. Don't first down, it's 3rd and 2, you pick up 3. That's sweet, but it's a lot sweeter if you pick up 10 more, even if you take a hit at the end of it. I'm curious if you want your Bears football players putting themselves at risk to get extra yards when they're skilled players like that. Darnell, hey dude, I love you running by guys. I love you catching bombs. I love it. You running over someone, that's not your game. Stay healthy, bro. You're going. I think. Listen, 1,000 yards last year. The dude has a chance to be an absolute star. One more here. As far as stars go, David Montgomery, the talent's there, right? And a total fighter. Different as a running back. That's what you do. You fight for yards. You run over people. You're a running back. It's part of your job description. I asked the new running back coach, who has also been around the NFL and also around college football, very much so. This is, here's how do you get David Montgomery to the next level? What does that look like? Here's a guy who was 17th in the NFL last year in yards. Also, missed 3-4 games with the knee injury. He was 17th. The guy at the top of that list, Jonathan Taylor, played for the Colts, who Matt Eberflus knows. And interestingly, the new running back coach, David Walker, 25 years of coaching experience. The Colts, the Lions in the NFL, a lot of college football. He's talking about the best running back in the NFL when comparing where David Montgomery can hopefully go in year 4.
What's could be the next level for David? Obviously he's off to an unbelievable start in his career, but what do you see as what's next for him?
David has the opportunity to be as good as anybody in this league. He's got the skill set. He's got the mindset. He's going to get his opportunities. Quickness, check. Vision, check. Power, check. He's got all those things. There's some guys that his style is kind of similar to that. We're working on studying this offseason a little bit. That hopefully can help him as he continues to grow, but he can be as good as he wants to be. I mean, he's got all the ability, and he's going to have all the opportunities, and we're gonna block people up well enough for him to have success.
Can you give us?
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that was the next question. The guy minus the 40-yard dash speed time. Okay, minus that. But the guy that's really, really similar to him that had a breakout year last season is Jonathan Taylor, okay, with the Colts. If you kind of just watch Montgomery run and you watch Taylor run, they're very, very similar in their styles. And obviously Jonathan had a great season last year and did a lot of great things. So that's one guy that we're watching, and it doesn't matter that the guy is kind of his peers. Not like it's a guy that's been in the league 10 years that you say, oh, you got to look at guys like that. You try to just look through the league, find guys that are similar, that have success, have your type of skill set, and why are they successful, and are there things we can incorporate that they do into our game, and that's what we're going to try to do a little bit this offseason.
Coach, I love you, buddy. I love you dreaming it big. Let's go. I look at David Montgomery and I see Jonathan Taylor, Jonathan Taylor led the NFL in rushing last year by nearly 600 yards. Now, Indianapolis was putting the ball on the ground a ton. There's all that, but he averaged 5.5 yards per carry. So David Walker, seeing some of that in David Montgomery, I got excited hearing that. And we're going to see a lot of David Montgomery this year, right? You will be taking pressure off of Justin Fields. We're going to try to make this as easy for you as possible. And we don't have a lot of wide receivers. Maybe they'll add, guys who get released and or sign a free agent before, it's maybe they'll do something along those lines. But I doubt it, right? Equiminius St. Brown, you got to take the next step. Darnell Mooney, you got to be sweet times 3 more from what you were last year. Byron Pringle, don't quit being a moron off the field. Don't get and produce to a whole other level. And by the way, Patrick Mahomes is not going to be throwing you the football, but you should get more opportunities. But really, they're going to put the ball on the ground and try to take – Justin Fields is not going to be throwing 30, 40 times a game, I don't think. So how do they maximize the use of Montgomery and maybe Valus out of the backfield? All that stuff is – and maybe Treston Ebner, who dropped the pass from Justin Fields yesterday. A couple notes before I get on out of here, and appreciate you jumping in here on DeWindy. Hit that subscribe button. We are live every Monday at 5, and then special episodes like this will pop on in here as we continue to grow the channel, and the Bears have OTAs, and I just felt like talking to you today. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Really interesting vision / note, if you will, from the Sun-Times and my guy Mark Potash, who does a great job. And he's looking at where the Bears are at and what this season could be. and he's writing about the quote, the sweet spot of bad. And he's dialing up the 1998 Colts as something the Bears could try to lean into. Now, that was with a rookie quarterback in Peyton Manning, and they went 3-13. But let's just forget about last year for a second here. Maybe we'll just do this a little bit slower than the Colts did. Manning started, finished every game, and he was sacked only 22 times. All right? So if the Bears can somehow have Justin Fields start and finish every game next year and get sacked only 22 times, which was the second fewest in the NFL at that point, that would be a phenomenal job. And then they got the 4th overall pick, which they used on Edgar and James. And then here you go. They're building it on their way to ultimately playing the Bears in Super Bowl 36 and winning in 2006. So, and then you look at more recent notes, is the Bengals. Joe Burrow had no one with him, and he was sacked way more, 32 times in 10 games. And then he had the season-ending knee injury, which is a total nightmare, which would be the worst thing that could happen this year. But Burrow was 2-7-1 as a starter, which is damn similar to 2-8, which is what Fields was last year. And then the Bengals got a high pick. Of course, the Bears didn't have one because they traded up to get Fields, but they're going to have one next year if they go bad. And they got Jamar Chase. And those two were a major reason why they were in the damn Super Bowl. So I really do think that you like keeping him upright, getting him all the playing time, learning the system, and then if you can add that impact offensive player alongside him next year, that seems like the most realistic path for the Bears to get to the mountaintop again for the first time since 1985. So I like how this is lining up as far as we're building the defense. There's no real and I got the Bears winning 8-9 games when you look at the schedule. But maybe that's and Patrick Schmidt, my partner, 5:00 on Mondays, he's got him winning 11. Nick Wright, Fox Sports 1, my good buddy, he's got him winning 11. I mean, I think everybody's probably just, I don't know, smoking something right now. I mean, 11 wins, that seems beyond tall. But at any rate, there is most likely, you think, not a lot of wins, and we're good. Wrap up with this. Lucas Patrick, Bears center, going to be a huge leader on this team. On Justin Fields. Every time I see him work with players, I see them progress. He's talking about Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator, working with Fields. In the wide receiver room, he started with in Green Bay. Bunch of guys he made better. Went to the quarterback room. Aaron Rodgers won an MVP. Now he's here as our OC, and everything he does well. Good person, really easy to go to, run through a brick wall for a coach you believe in. It's a big-time compliment on Luke Getsy. Like it, Lucas Patrick. And I like your attitude. You are sweet. And so are you for checking out the Windy City podcast today. Appreciate you, Benjamin Lewis, for jumping in the chat, and everybody else who jumped in. Dan Levy, you're my guy, buddy. Appreciate you talking with me today. And hey, hit that subscribe button, and we got a ton of great stuff coming for you on the channel. I'm super excited about it. And it was fun to be out at OTAs yesterday. Thanks for everybody watching the video of Tristan Ebner dropping Justin Fields' sweet dime-level pass, which one guy wrote at me. All these passes are always called dimes. What do you want me to say? So it was a really nice pass from Justin Fields. Thing was sweet. Beautiful arc right down the sidelines. I loved it. See you next time. Appreciate you. The Windy City podcast saying have a great